Hi everybody. So what is inflammation and what does it mean when we have inflammation in our body? So recently I have asked this question, like who here have a thing that has inflammation, and what does it mean if you think that you have inflammation? So there are very good answers, and the people were saying that yes, they were right, because the immune system is fighting something inside, there are antibodies and white blood cells and B cells, T cells. There is some bacteria, virus, or some toxins, or some proteins or some food particles that shouldn't be inside our body, and it's creating inflammation. So our body is fighting that. So our immune system is fighting. So when this happens prolonged period of time, then our tissues become damaged. Okay, so who here thinks that have inflammation in their body and they have some disease because of this inflammation? Okay, so you can write in the comments. So what do you think? Okay, so according to Dr. Alessio Fassano, which is doctor in the Harvard University, is a professor of nutrition, and he is the one who discovered the protein zonulin that is involved in creating leaky gut. And according to him, there are 5 factors which are involved in creating inflammation. So 5 factors. The number 1 is gene predispositions. So what does it mean? That means that if before they were thinking that if the people have the genes for some disease, they will develop definitely that disease. So for example, like celiac disease, 1/3 of the population have this gene, but only 1% develops celiac disease. So what does it mean? It means that it depends on the environment. Like number 2 is environmental triggers. So how we live, what we do, right? So the factor number 2 is environmental triggers, which means if you have gene, for example, for celiac, and you eat wheat, you will definitely get the celiac disease, right? So these are environmental triggers that are activating our genes or deactivating. Okay, so the genes will stay quiet if you don't eat wheat, and they will not be activated, so you don't develop this disease. Factor number 3 is our microbiome. So our microbiome are actually the viruses, bacteria that live in our gut, like archaea, which are single-cell organisms, and the parasites, everything that lives in our gut is called microbiome. And the exhaust of these bacteria, of these microbes, exhaust metabolites are 36% in our bloodstream. So the metabolites from these bacteria are 36%. So 1/3 of what these microbes produce is in our bloodstream. Imagine. And they are actually like messengers, and the messages before they were thinking that the messages goes only from the brain to the gut. So like with your brain, you control if you have diarrhea or constipation or pain or anything that you can control with your brain. But now it turns out that our gut microbiome is controlling like 9 messages going to the brain from our gut microbiome, and 1 message going from our brain to our gut microbiome. So our gut microbiome, our bacteria, are more important than what our brain is telling our gut microbiome. So it's other way around. And by using antibiotics or medications, we are making this balance and this biosis in our gut, and creating that more of the bad guys overgrowth, and create more of the bad exhaust and metabolism, bad messages, like which creates that we can feel depressed or anxiety, and this is all because of the gut disbalance. 90% of the serotonin, the happiness hormone, is created from our gut microbes, right? So if you're depressed, that means you don't have a good microbes in your gut. Number 4 is leaky gut. So for example, often when you eat wheat, the toll-like receptor 4 in the beginning of the intestines, it's a receptor, it's triggered, and it activates the NF-kappa B factor, which also amplifies the inflammation. It's like a signal which increases the inflammation in this tissue, and it creates leaky gut. Because if you eat, for example, wheat for bread for breakfast, bread for lunch, bread for dinner, your body creates inflammation, and then it heals. Then it creates again, damages the gut, and then it heals. So, but if it's constantly, we are irritating it every day, 3 times a day, and at one point it cannot heal anymore. It's overwhelmed the body, and then it's creating leaky gut. If you want to know more about leaky gut and how this happens, I explain very good in my 3-part video series on the link above. You can watch it and understand much better what does it mean to have leaky gut and how all disease happen, and what are the steps to follow, proper steps to follow to heal the leaky gut. Okay. Number 5 is systemic inflammation. So, like I said, the body cannot tolerate anymore. It creates like leaky gut, and then all the food particles, the bigger molecules, they go throughout the leaky gut in our body, and it creates systemic inflammation everywhere throughout our body. Maybe your joints, maybe your brain, maybe your thyroid, maybe muscles, any organ, it can be damaged. It's called systemic inflammation. So these are the 5 factors that are involved in creating the inflammation. So the gene predisposition, number 1. Number 2 is environmental triggers, so how we live, what we eat, what we do. 3 is our microbiome. Is our microbiome healthy? Do we have a good microbes? 4 is leaky gut. Do we have leaky gut or no? And number 5 is systemic inflammation throughout our whole body. Okay. So let me know if any of you have any kind of inflammation, and which one of these factors is contributing to your inflammation. Which one of these 5 factors? So genes, environmental triggers, microbiome, leaky gut, or systemic inflammation throughout your body. Okay, so see you next time. Bye.